All right, so we're continuing along our journey to the inevitable introduction of the Masters of Evil. We had the mighty Thor battle Radioactive Man. We had Iron Man battling the Melter. Next up on the list is Giant Man. Now, what kind of character would go up against Giant Man and, of course, his female sidekick or female partner or sidekick? His Wasp a partner or a sidekick? Discuss in the comments. Who can go up against Giant Man? It's actually the Black Knight. Do you like unusual, powerful supervillains? We know you do. That's why we'll bet you're gonna flip when the Black Knight strikes. Look at that. He has like a joust, and the joust is shooting out some netting. What do they call them? Bolos? That are taking out Giant Man. And Giant Man is attached to a gosh darn plane. Is it? That's a plane, isn't it? Yeah, that's a plane. So it's like, what's his thing? The Black Knight, he's got knight armor that's black, and he has a flying horse. I'm gonna admit, I don't know a whole lot about this character. I don't know how it is that he reflects Giant Man. If Giant Man is a character that grows, because like Radioactive Man was the science to reflect the mighty Thor's superstition. And then the Melter was able to melt metal, which was Iron Man's theme. How the fuck does the Black Knight, how does this relate to Giant Man at all? Well, I'm very interested to find out. Giant Man and the Wonderful Wasp in The Black Knight Strikes. Look, it's Giant Man. Where did he come from? It's the stork who brought me, Garrett. But the main thing is where you're going, to jail for delivering scientific secrets to the Red Chinese spies. They don't realize I spied on them unseen as Ant-Man, and then took a growth capsule to shoot up into Giant Man. Though he is twice normal size, he cannot catch us all. Rush him. We think you'll agree that Giant Man's latest foe will rank with the world's greatest supervillains, and so we present the origin of the Black Knight. Big as he is, bullets will stop him. Yes, if you can get a chance to fire them, but they forget how long my reach is. Is this? I think this is the first time I've ever had Giant Man on this channel. Very interesting. He reached out and grabbed them before they could fire, but I'll still get away. Oh, your ringleader, Garrett, is trying to make a getaway in his car. I can't follow him till I put you three in a safe place. Lucky I can clear this low roof in one leap. Stop squirming, little man. This won't take much longer. This is interesting. I like this. I like how Giant Man is really... He takes up so much of the panel, and they're really using the right angles to really emphasize his size. It really... The art really comes off the page. It's quite nice. There, you'll be nice and cozy up on these masts with the cool, refreshing breeze in your faces. Now, if you'll excuse me, hold on, Garrett. Don't you know it's rude to leave without saying goodbye? I love it. It's almost like the perspective of it is what makes him, because if you think about it, the way he's drawn is no larger than the figure would usually be in a superhero comic, but it's because everything around him is ever so slightly smaller than usual. It gives you the illusion that he's massive, and that is an interesting effect. I really, really like that. What's the matter, you traitor? Cat got your tongue? Yelp! Help me, it's a Giant Man! Enjoy the ride while you can, Garrett. Not many men can fly without wings. Thwang. Oh man, isn't that electrical? Wouldn't that shock him? Hope you enjoyed your little ride, mister, because where you're going, there won't be enough room for so much fun and games. I think you're pretty clever, huh, Giant Man? Well, if I ever had a superpower to match your things, would be a lot different. Sure, Garrett. And if threats could kill, I'd have been kaput a long time ago. Professor Garrett, the fact that you're a famous research scientist who has been given high honors by his country makes your crime of treason more apprehensible than ever, and so I am fixing your bail at $100,000. Huh, I should worry. The Reds will pay it rather than take the chance of me talking at my trial. The Reds, so he's a commie, goddammit. The traitorous Professor Garrett's prediction comes true, and 1 hour after his bail, he's been paid by renegade scientist flees the country by means of counterfeit passport. I'll lose myself in some small nation in Europe where they'll never find me. But a few days later, in a remote Balkan kingdom, nestled in the Alps, a grim-faced man stares at a statue in the village square. For ages, there have been legends of flying horsemen, and men who have considered them merely fables. But what if it were possible? What if there once had been such creatures? This is weird. Where are you going with this? Explain. Intrigued by the notion of a flying horse, and having unlimited time on his hands, that's it? He wants to build himself a flying horse? That's your origin? The brilliant, unscrupulous scientist rents a deserted castle, locking himself inside as he begins one of the strangest experiments of all time? Oh yeah, you could just rent a castle like that. God. If you could just rent a castle, I would be living in one right now. Nah, actually probably not. That doesn't sound very comfortable. I have always believed that anything is possible. Anything. So long as a man has enough talent. The days turn to weeks to months, and still Garrett's works conducting countless genetic experiments until I knew it could be done. Once I found the key by injecting just the right proportions of the eagle's blood cells into a stallion, I've achieved the impossible. So he genetically engineered his own horse? His own Pegasus? I don't know, man. And how does that relate to Giant Man? How is this guy the arch foe of Giant Man? Like, weeks later, halfway around the globe, another scientist is at work in his lab as a lovely miniature-sized flying girl enters excitedly. It's about time you showed up, Wass. You were supposed to be here to help with this experiment at 7. What has delayed you? Now don't lose your temper, boss man, until I tell you what happened. It was the most unbelievable thing. Oh, for the love of Pete, Jan. Can't you ever just admit you forgot instead of making up ridiculous excuses all the time? Oh, don't you dare shout at me, Henry Pym. It so happens I was in a taxi coming across the Washington Bridge when we got caught in a traffic jam. Oh dear, I'll never get to Henry's lab by 7. Knowing what a grumpy old grouch you are about people being late, I changed into the Wasp and I flew towards the lab, thinking I could make better time. Keep the change. Holy mackerel, this jalopy's haunted. They always say it's haunted. You would think they would have learned by now about all these superheroes. And then I saw it. At first, all I heard was the sound, a thunderous rustling of wings. And then I looked around, and oh no, it isn't possible. It was a flying knight in black armor, riding a mighty flying horse. I thanked my lucky stars I was wasp-sized and too small to attract his attention. That is an interesting joust that he's got. Very interesting. As I watched incredulously, he swooped down to an armored car and then pressed a button on his strange lance. He melted a hole right through the steel side. Before anyone could gather their wits, he had scooped up a huge money bag with the tip of his lance, and then again, he was heading for the open sky. I'd have given anything to be able to follow him, but his flying horse was far too fast, and he reached a height which I could never hope to reach. And I cannot follow him, but I will tell Giant Man. Jan, you're wasting your time. Being my partner, you could make a fortune writing comics. Now how about being serious for a while? We've still got a lot of work to do. Oh, Henry Pym, you are most exasperating, frustrating, aggravating man I have ever known. Sure, I love you too, kid. You're supposed to switch on the radio. It's about time for the news. Oh, it'll be a pleasure to hear something besides the sound of your rattling test tubes. Bulletin. 3 gods were taken into custody tonight after the armored car was robbed. They insist the criminal attacked them on a flying horse. Oh man, I am ready for your abject apology now, my dear know-it-all. Alright, hold it, Jan. Let me tune into my cybernetic ant communicator. If a mysterious flying horse was seen in the city, some of my ants somewhere are sure to have witnessed the sight. A mental impulse picture will form in seconds. And there it is. You were right, Jan. It's a flying horse, and it appears he's attacking a helicopter now. Very well, big boy. I know you're wondering how to apologize to me, so I'll make it easy for you. A piece of jewelry would be nice, perhaps 2 tickets to a Broadway show, and then dinner and dancing and... Whoa, gorgeous. You little gold digger. Suppose you settle for reducing capsule right now, because we've got a job on our hands. I'm turning into Giant Man, and going up after that flying menace. You follow as best you can, but be careful. I don't want within range of... until we know what his powers are. Does he have powers? Aside from the flying horse, and assuming he's a professor, I'm assuming there's like some gadgets in there somewhere. Well, yeah, I mean, he burnt the side of that ray, so he has the Melter's rays. However he got them. And so, fill me in about that rider on the winged horses, Chief. Perhaps I can help. Not much to tell, Giant Man. He attacked a new jet-assisted whirlybird. We can't fire at him for fear of hitting the plane or its passengers. And he's trying to capture the plane, use it for his own. It's piracy in the air. Minutes later, a huge Air Force cargo plane heads for the spot where the air battle is taking place. So far, so good. Now fly directly above the helicopter. What the heck? So it's like an unrelated air cargo, or is it? Oh, he's on the air. Okay, that's fine. That makes sense. I don't miss, big fella. It's a long way down, and we haven't a parachute that can hold you. If I do miss, Major, tell the Wasp. Ah, forget it. She must know how I really feel about her. Alright, see you around, pal. Here goes. Jeez, as big as he is, his size will never match his courage. Made it. Made it to what? Oh, he made it to the helicopter. Damn, look at him. He's hanging on for dear life. Wouldn't you just drag the helicopter down? Alright, mister. You're not attacking a defenseless ship any longer. Oh, Giant Man, what a rare stroke of luck for me. Who of all people have I wanted to find and defeat? First, I'll blind you by focusing my mirror visor directly into your eyes. It's that voice. I know it. I've heard it somewhere before. My eyes. The dazzling glare I cannot see. Then, as Giant Man dangles sightlessly for a moment, the Black Knight pressing another stud on his amazing lance. Oh, now that you're helpless, you oversized oaf, I have another surprise for you. Let's see what good your giant size will do when you feel the bite of my bolo balls. Bolo balls. Hilarious. Ooh, I purposely attacked the helicopter, hoping it would bring you out into the open, where I could strike at you. For I knew I'd have to get you in the air in order to smash you forever. There. My super strong steel cable has you in a grip, which even your oversized muscles cannot shatter. All you can do is eventually loosen your hold and fall to your doom below. Oh, you've gone to a lot of trouble preparing for this meeting. But why? Because I once told you that if I had a superpower to match yours, things would have turned out differently, remember? Oh, but of course. Now I know you, Professor Garrett the traitor. But how? Oh, I was hoping you'd asked. It will make my revenge complete to tell you the whole story before I take my final charge. Wouldn't the horse get tired eventually? Because it's just a horse. It's not like it's a machine. Like, doesn't it have to land and, like, rest? His one vulnerable point is his colossal vanity. I've got to goad him into boasting about himself until I can think of a counterplan. Here, Giant Man, take a good look at the man you thought you had defeated. The man who will soon destroy you. Remember? Do you remember how I jumped bail and fled to Europe while I didn't remain fearfully in hiding? No! I worked. Oh, how I worked on a scheme to smash you. I've got to develop enough weapons to make me the master of Giant Man in any situation. Is that... But how is it... I don't know. How is this the opposite of Giant Man? It's really not. It's really, really not. If you guys can see how he is thematically the opposite of Giant Man, that would be very interesting. My supreme achievement in regards to weapons is my multi-studded lance, which contains every type of battle device I might ever need. Oh, no one could ever suspect that a 45 caliber machine gun is mounted in the control handle of my lance. Yes, I used the soundproof castle dungeon as a testing area for every weapon I created, and always I was spurred on by a hatred for you. Imagine Giant Man's shock when he sees an acetylene torch flame shoot out of my lance, capable of burning through a 2-foot steel wall. Oh, but not all my weapons are within my lance. I shall keep a small paralyzing pistol separate, always close at hand. There. I froze that cat in mid-run. You paralyzed the cat. That's psychopathic behavior if I've ever seen it. It was chasing too. It remained motionless for a full hour. And perhaps you're wondering what this little gadget is, Giant Man. I keep it strapped to my leg where I can reach it in a split second. I call it the itch ray, and here's why. Does it make him itch? Oh gosh, it's plain itching powder. Only 1,000 times worse. It's making me itch all over. Oh no. I can't hold on any longer. Between the strain on my muscles and the terrible itching, it's just too much. And you're done. So long as I have one hand free, I still have an ace up my sleeve, which the Black Knight doesn't suspect. He's following me down. It's just as I had hoped. What's your plan? What's your plan? I have no idea how you possibly plan to get out of this. I've just got to use my free hand to take a shrinking capsule from my belt. And then, there we go. Shrinks. The wasp should be close at hand. I told her to follow me. If she stopped to buy a new hat or a new hairdo, I'm gonna miss me from now on. Here goes nothing. At least I'm free. Oh, but it's impossible. He disappeared right before my eyes. But how? Looking for me, Dreamboat? Oh, not anymore, honey. I found her. That's great. That's great. I can't hold on much longer, Hank. My wings aren't strong enough for this. Don't give it another thought, Jan. We're getting a lift right now. Where? Oh my god, that's the horse's butt. Terrific, Jan. I could kiss you for this. Well, who's stopping you? Lame. Okay. Like partner, when are you going to learn that there's a time and place for everything? Oh, this looks like a good place as any, boss man. On a horse's butt? She's got nothing but time. I hate to be a party poop, Jan, but there's still the little matter of defeating the Black Knight to attend to. Oh, you can do it with one hand tied behind you. My hands were tied just a few minutes ago, and you never saw a sadder looking crime fighter in your life, kid. Now find a place to get a good grip on the saddle, because I'm gonna make things shaking around here. And why couldn't you have been a disc jockey or something really glamorous instead of a hero type cook? I'll just take a normal sized capsule. If it becomes Giant Man again, his horse won't be able to support my weight. I can't wait to see the Black Knight when he learns he's got a hitchhiker on board. And that's it. Boom. Pardon me, pal. Got a match? It's Giant Man. But that's impossible. Anything's possible, little friend. Don't you ever read science fiction stories? Slap. The lance. Oh, the lance is gone. Well, that's it. You're done. That was the whole thing, man. That was all you had. Don't worry about it, Buster. Where you're going, that overgrown toothpick would only get in the way. Oh, get off. Your weight is making my wing speed lose altitude. We're gonna crash. He's right. I can't take the chance, not with the wasp hanging on. I'll have to dive off here when we're low enough. Waiting until the last split second, trying desperately to pick just the right spot, the intrepid masked adventurer finally hurls himself from the flying horse, muttering a silent prayer as he falls. Oh, he's panicked as I hoped he would. This will be the end of him. But the costume crusader is not so easily disposed of. Oh, got room for a kibitzer, folks? Oh my god. The parachute. Oh, it's a ride. Okay, there's rides. The parachute ride. Thanks for the lift, kid. Next time we meet, the ride will be on me. Boy, you meet all kinds in a place like this. Fucking ridiculous. Meantime, the wasp decides it's time that she took a hand. Henry is safe. Now, the sooner we take care of the Black Knight, the sooner I'll have my bashful boyfriend all to myself again. So the first thing to do is separate this armored cornball from his flying horse, and a simple feminine trip like a sharp pinch ought to do the little thing. Oh, that was it! She just stings the horse and then it just flings him. It just kicks him. But the Black Knight also possesses great agility, and he manages to maneuver himself in midair as he falls so that he lands safely atop a roller coaster. Oh, something must have shocked my horse. But no matter, he'll fly back to me in mere seconds. But then, once I am astride, Him again. I'll wait. No. Oh, yes, Shorty, you didn't think you'd seen the last of me, did you? That's crazy. How did he get up there? God, he's so big. Stop squirming, Garrett. It'll only hurt for a minute. Meantime, in an effort to gain control of the wild flying steed, the wasp takes the growth to normal size. Easy, boy. Won't Hank be impressed if I can gentle this fly baby? And then, oh, nope, she's fucked. But before the startled girl can secure herself firmly in the saddle, the winged creature executes a rolling loop, unseating her. And Giant Man's super sensitive cybernetic antenna pick up the wasp's faint call. Seizing his opportunity, the Black Knight uses a split second to wrest himself free of the giant captor's grace. The copter is trying to reach her, but it'll never make it in time. I've only one chance to leap. I can't afford to miss. Giant Man, no. Even if you catch me, we'll both fall to our deaths. Not if I timed this. Oh man, just as I tried to, my arm should be just long enough to reach the helicopter, of course. Look at that. I couldn't save myself by becoming the wasp because my shrinking pills were used up. Not for you, I would have died. Forget it, lady, you're safe now. Wow, these guys sure put on great shows at this park. And now it's time to settle our score with the Black Knight. But where is he? Look sharp, Wasp. I have a feeling that he isn't far away. Fool, I'm closer than you think. And one blast away from my paralysis ray will finish you off forever. But, aided again by his super sensitive cybernetic antenna, Giant Man hears the faint click of the Black Knight's gunhammer. There's someone behind me. I can't afford to take chances. I'll take a shrinking capsule, and fast. Oh, I must be losing my mind. He changed size right before my eyes. Not a moment too soon. Look at that. Boom. Either you're not human or I'm going mad. Mad. Garrett, look out. You're falling through the guardrail. And then, oh no. Oh, good. His winged steed flew under him, saving him just in time. Oh, you've beaten me this time, Giant Man. But I'll be back sooner or later. I'll be back. Oh, can't any of your enemies you beat ever just lose gracefully and join the Foreign Legion? Do they all have to make those corny exit speeches? Something tells me that was no idle boast, Honey Chili. Honey Chili? What the? If you ever hear the rustle of wings above you in the future, you head for cover. It's liable to be more than just some pigeons. And there you have it. Another reason why Giant Man and the Wonderful Wasp are becoming two of fandom's most talked about new characters. Be with us again next issue when the mighty Marvel group combines talents to present the greatest Giant Man tale of all. Yeah, Giant Man's pretty cool. I really like him. I just don't see what he has to do with the Black Knight. How is the Black Knight thematically relevant to Giant Man? How is he an arch foe at all? They're not relevant at all. One is a gadgets guy and one is a shrinking hero. So I don't know. So it's definitely doesn't reach the high marks that the other two did. The other two were perfect 10s, but this one's like an 8. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys see some kind of thematic relevance between Giant Man and the Black Knight? Am I just missing it? I don't know. He seems like a very generic villain, and because of that, he doesn't elevate the hero the way a good villain really does. So, but overall, it's a good story. It's a Silver Age story. Nice and fun, a lot of fun, very colorful, as we're used to. And it's one step closer to us discovering the truth of the Masters of Evil. But until then, that's it for this comic. If you liked reading this comic with me and you want to read more comics with me, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, nerds, stay heroic.